Hey folks, and welcome back to another review and thoughts on. This one is, I gotta say, I think I don't know if it's getting any good reviews. Um, on Amazon I saw like a lot of panning it and kind of trashing it. There was like maybe 2 good reviews of this movie. I liked the movie. I mean, it's not one of the greatest, but I don't know, like it was a decent watch. Like I liked um the perception of a prophet, like a false prophet type of, like, this is basically, it's a supernatural film. It's called The Unholy. It's actually written, produced, and directed by Evan. I don't know how to say his last name, but this is his directorial debut movie. It's also produced by Sam Raimi, which I think you can sort of see some of his signature stuff in this. But yeah, like, this is based off a novel of the 1980s, I believe. Yeah, 1983, called The Shrine, or just called Shrine. This one is basically about a journalist, pretty much Eddie Brock if he was older and never found venom, but just basically a disgraced journalist who pretty much is a scam artist, artist who made up different, stories and pretty much ruined people's lives to get ahead. And basically, he goes into this one town where he stumbles upon this one woman who's mute deaf, and she starts performing miracles. And soon he's not sure if this is even a hoax or maybe this is the real deal. And then other people start believing in her after she heals some of them, and you're not sure, is this really happening? Is this really, because she believes it's the whole Saint Mary thing, I believe, but you're not sure, is this really, Saint Mary, or is this something pretending to be her? So I liked that angle of it. I do wish, I don't know, I would have liked it, but then I don't know how you would explain, like, some of the stuff that she does with people. So, but I don't know, like, this could have been more psychological. This could have been more realistic in its approach of people not blindly, but people just believing, into these miracles that are happening. But is it really happening, or is it like all in her head? But then I don't know how to even go into that. But I don't know, like, I liked the acting was good by everyone. The story overall was actually pretty decent. I do like how it was somewhat realistic, how people would react to somebody healing somebody who can't walk, and then all of a sudden, if you believe in so and so, you can walk, and then the kid's able to walk. Or how she heals her uncle because he has like a disease or something and he's dying from it, but then she heals him. And then he decides to smoke again. Well, and then, like, even the story with the entity in this, I actually kind of liked. I liked her look, her design. There is some CGI enhanced with her, but there's also a lot of practical. Like, she's practical, but there are CGI enhancements with her in scenes. But I didn't mind it. I mean, I liked her look. Her backstory was kind of interesting. Almost like a Freddy Krueger type thing, but not really. This movie reminded me, like, the villain reminded me of Darkness Falls. Pretty much like the evil Tooth Fairy type thing, but, like, her design looked like that. Like she has like a mask, but it's, hiding like her actual face. It's like burned up um, and that. Like at the beginning, I was kind of confused on the lead character. Like what was his whole character? Like what was his job really? Because then there's a line of dialogue. Oh, he's a journalist and he ruined people's lives back in the day, and now he's a blacklisted type thing. So that's why I'm saying I'm comparing him to Eddie Brock if he was like older and like he never found Venom, but he found like a even worse entity than Venom. But yeah, the film opens up with the execution of a woman accused of witchcraft in the 1800s, and she's hung at a tree, set on fire, of course, because that's what they do. And they also nail like a mask to her face, which, you know. And then many years later, journalist Gary Finn works a job reporting on all things strange and unusual, and pretty much he goes to Boston where he's told about strange activity, revealed to be a teenage prank, and he begins to leave, but then he's drawn to like this tree, hears voices, and then there's a doll. And I will say, like, the ending, like the rules of this entity that they put down, I didn't understand. I mean, I understood it, but then the way it ends doesn't. I didn't understand how it can still. So I guess it's killed. I guess it's destroyed, even though the way they said how it would die, and how it gets its power through a certain someone, you know. But pretty much he crushes the doll, for what, I don't know. And then pretty much he sets the entity that was encaged or imprisoned in it free, unknowingly. And pretty much Gary later crosses a road at night and he sees a young woman, and pretty much he hears her speaking to the tree, and then she collapses, and then he takes her to a hospital and learns that she's deaf mute, but yet he heard her speaking. And then people are like, yeah, right, you didn't hear her, you would have been in jail if you killed her. And then like pretty much he wants to investigate more and try to find out if this is really a hoax or a prank. And pretty much the following day, Alice stuns the community when she goes outside and to the burnt up tree that is just in the middle of this field outside of the church. And then all the other kids, you know, girls follow. I'm like, why? Do they hear the voices too? But I guess maybe it's just, oh, she's doing it, so I guess we all have to go follow her. Alright. And then even the adults are like following her for like, what? I don't know. But I guess since my kid's going out there, I gotta go. And pretty much she starts talking and spewing, oh, the Virgin Mary talked to me and she cured me, and if you believe in her, you will become blessed or whatever, if you allow her to if you believe in her and that. And but it is a Mary character, but it's not the Saint Mary version. But pretty much her uncle is kind of, I don't want these reporters and people, you know, all up on my niece. But pretty much I did like the one scene where the uncle, the bishop or whoever he's supposed to be, he goes into a confessional because he thinks somebody's in there, and the way it's shot was pretty decent, where the person's talking to him, and like the person starts to reveal her but it's really like the evil entity posing as, Saint Mary, and she starts spewing her plan and what she plans to do, and pretty much Gary and Natalie, I guess the town's physician doctor, pretty much they sort of have like a somewhat romantic thing going on, but it's kind of in the background. But then they stumble upon a journal or like a book that tells like about a woman, Mary, who sold her soul to Satan in order to gain eternal life and power. And pretty much he would allow her to live through her descendants, pretty much revealed to be Alice. So that's why I guess she can hear the voices, and to perform miracles. And so pretty much Alice is tricked by all this, and pretty much I guess this other bishop takes control of the church, and he's kind of trying to profit off of it as well. And then you have another young preacher or bishop or whatever you want to call him. He's pretty much a good guy, but then he dies, which I'm like, wow. And the way he dies was kind of just out of nowhere. I didn't think they would kill him the way they did, but like, it wasn't like graphic or anything, but I just thought it was like funny. We have this one guy who can help us do what we gotta do to try to, take out this entity, but then he dies, like, just like that. So it's like, and then pretty much Natalie and Gary, they gotta get to what is it called? They have to go to a gathering, I'll just say that. And pretty much all these people go there, and Gary and Natalie have to try to convince people that they're being lied to, and it was all false and not real. And people are like, yeah, right, my kid can walk, how do you explain that? And I forget what Gary said. He said something about medicine or something. Or like, the kid believed he could walk, so that's what, or something like that. But then Alice starts to believe Natalie, because then the entity Mary starts talking evil to her. So then she's like, yeah, it's right, I'm not performing miracles, it was all a lie, it was all false. So then people are like mad, and then the place starts to get burnt, because I guess Mary's really mad and decides to burn the place down. And then I'm like, what do you plan to do with, I guess she was going to try to kill Gary, because if she was to try to kill Alice, that would mean she would die. But then, in a way, I did like how her entrance was, where she's like inside of the flames and the tree, and like her body breaks out of the flames and tree, and the way she moves, kind of like Samara. But yeah, the finale of this pretty much is, typical showdown, a demon goes wherever, heroes. I was happy it didn't go, downbeat, so that's a plus. Pretty much Mary is stopped, because Alice sacrifices herself when Mary goes to try to kill Gary, and pretty much Thanos melts in a way. But then I'm like, because the rules are she can live only through her descendants, which is only Alice. But since Alice is dead because Mary killed her, thus Mary is dead. But then Gary decides, it'd be a good idea to pray and be like, God, can you bring back Alice? Even though if I do that, I'm pretty sure Mary will come back, but I guess not, because I didn't understand that part. So I guess, whatever. She comes back to life, but is once again a deaf mute. Because I guess, yeah. So all the people whom Alice cured soon relapse. That kind of sucks, because like, so if you had a disease or whatever, you're screwed. So I guess that kid can't play soccer anymore. Pretty much the statue of the Mary inside the church cries tears of blood, and then it has like a text of false prophets and whatever. And I guess that was a quote from Bible and whatever, Matthew 17 or something. But yeah, overall, I didn't mind the film. I thought it was really pretty good. The girl who played Alice. Her name is Cricket Brown. Really? Alright. I thought she did really good. Whoever played Marina, I guess she played Mary. I thought she did really good, even though, like, yeah. But yeah, overall, overall, I didn't mind the film. I actually liked it. I will say, it does have some jump scares, which is pretty annoying, but again, I would have liked it if it was more real. I don't know how you would have done this a realistic way, and how you would explain how, somebody who's paralyzed and then they're able to walk. But then there's, some people in real life that are able to, oh, you'll never walk again, and then are able to walk some days or a day later, or not later, but, I mean, sometime in their life later on, and then, oh, I can walk. Not as good, but as I used to, but I can still, like, get around. So, I don't know, like, you could have played around with that, maybe, but I did like a few comments where, like, they do show, I did like how they show, like, the news, and they show, like, interviews of, like, teens where, like, yeah, I believe in, Alice, because, or whatever, because people used to think I was invisible, and now people like me, or whatever. She's like, and one girl on the news that they interviewed, I loved her comment where she's like, she can even be bigger than Taylor Swift. I'm like, what? I mean, I think anybody is better than her, but whatever. She either said she's better than Taylor Swift, or she's bigger than Taylor Swift. Either way, I think she's both. but yeah. Yeah, I like the film. I thought it was well edited. I think the jump scares in it, I think you could ease back from. I don't understand the whole bleeding statues. I never got that in horror movies with these, demon or ghost movies. Like, why are the statues bleeding or crying blood? Like, I don't get it. Really don't. But yeah, it received generally negative reviews, which I don't get why, because I thought it was a decent movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie of 2021, even though I think it was supposed to be in principal photography. It was 2020. Filming was suspended because of COVID, but then it was released on April 2021. So yeah, I think it's one of the better 2021 movies to me anyway. That's just my opinion. I thought it was a decent, interesting idea. I know I saw another movie like this, but it wasn't like, it had something to do with like a girl performing miracles and stuff like that. I swear there was another movie I saw. I don't even think I finished it though, because it was so boring. Where this one I was sort of getting bored, but then it was interesting in spots. I'll say that. I liked the design of the evil Mary character. I liked her backstory a good bit. Um, what else? The acting was good. Negatives, I'll say again, the rules where, okay, fine, she's imprisoned in this doll, but then the doll is inside a tree. But then, how come he was able to hear her, the voices? I thought, and how come whoever the farmer was, or whoever, because like, how come he in here? But I guess since it's our lead, we gotta have him hear the voices, and then walk to the burnt up tree, and then find this doll, and then break it for no reason. I mean, there's a reason why I did it, but it's like, it was stupid. But yeah, and then like the whole Mary can only live through her descendants, and then she kills one of her descendants, which kills her, but then that descendant returns from the dead, and then, but yet Mary's not back. She doesn't return back. So I didn't understand that whole spew, but I guess you gotta have a happy ending somehow. I don't know, like, if the rules are, if your descendant dies because you're connected to that descendant and they died, so you die. But I guess, I would just had it like that. If Alice dies and the evil being dies, and then we have, a scene of Natalie and Jeffrey, or what is his name? Jeffrey? No. Gary. Have Gary and Natalie, at the end, saying a few words about Alice or whatever, and then camera ends, or the movie, it fades out or ends, it goes to credits. Did not need to have her come back to life, and then have the final shot of a statue crying of blood and tears. I don't like that, so that's a big, big negative of the film. But overall, I like the film. I gotta say. And again, it's a pretty interesting horror movie. I thought it was decently directed. There is some humor in it, very little, but there's some to me that I liked. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Please give it a like, thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And comment, subscribe, share, turn on your post notifications so you know when I drop a new video. You can go to my Patreon to get earlier reviews, commentaries, reaction videos, or just donate to the channel if you care to, if you would like to. But yeah, overall, thanks for watching, take care, and peace and love. Bye.